The man who carries a war in his soul never truly rests. He forges his will before he hones his steel, and he tempers his spirit long before his hand touches the blade. While the rest of the world drowns in fleeting comforts, he trains. While others crumble under the weight of ease, he endures the deliberate pain of preparation. Not for a single fight, not for a moment of glory, but for the 10,000 trials that life will unleash upon him with no warning and no mercy. You do not rise to greatness once and stay there. You rise again and again and again, from the ashes of betrayal, from the wreckage of failure, from the storms inside you that no one else can see. A man who is not perpetually prepared is a man who is already defeated. You cannot hope to summon courage when the hurricane hits if you have not built a fortress in the quiet. In the stillness before the battle, in the dead hours of the night when the world is asleep, that is where the warrior is truly born. The world tests you not in one grand cinematic moment, but in the slow erosion of your daily choices. Every small compromise wears you down. Every excuse you make is a thread in the net that will one day trap you. Every comfort you run to is a drop of acid on the edge of your blade. If you wait for the perfect time to begin, it will leave you behind. If you only prepare for the enemy you can see, you will be destroyed by the one you never imagined. You must prepare for 10,000 battles, not one. The battle against loss, the battle against your own ego, the battle against impatience, the battle against doubt, the battle against exhaustion, the battle against isolation, the battle against betrayal, and the most brutal of all, the battle against yourself. Because the man who has won the war within fears no conflict without. They will belittle your discipline. They will call it obsession, call it madness. But remember this, the ones who mock the armor are never the ones left standing when the arrows rain down. Those who build their lives on distraction will not survive the moment of impact. Let them talk, let them sleep, let them become soft. You are not here for their understanding. You are here to become a force of nature. Sharpen your body until it acts without thinking. Sharpen your mind until it slices through deception. Sharpen your purpose until it is a light that burns away all doubt. This is not about preparing for a single opponent. This is about achieving a state of readiness for life itself. You must train until the fight feels beneath you, until crisis feels like a familiar drill, until chaos can storm into your world and not even alter the rhythm of your breath. That is true strength. It is not loud. It is not for show. It is earned in the deep, quiet, and resolute corners of your soul. If the path is brutal, walk it. If the burden is crushing, carry it. If the world refuses to believe in you, then detach from your need for its belief. You are not born for acceptance. You are born to overcome. Do not beg for peace if you have not prepared for war. Peace is a reward reserved for those who are willing to bleed for it. You think peace is the absence of trouble, but true peace is the presence of mastery. Mastery over your thoughts, over your reactions, over your own fear. And mastery is never found in calm seas. It is carved by the violent winds of the storm. You must become the kind of man whose foundation is so deep it was forged in the bedrock of resistance. It is not the storm you survive that defines you, but the shape you hold after it has passed. Every trial is a chisel. Every hardship is a hammer. They are not sent to break you. They are sent to sculpt you. But only if you remain standing. Only if you endure the process without begging for it to be easy. No one is coming to save you. And that, right there, is your greatest advantage. The moment you accept that truth, you awaken. You stop wasting your energy hoping for a softer world, and you begin the work of making yourself harder than the world. They called Musashi a demon, not for the men he killed, but because he had so utterly conquered the battlefield of himself. He slept on the hard ground, he ate what was necessary, he fought with blinding clarity. He never clung to riches, and he never feared his own death. That is power. You prepare not to impress others, not to be praised in public, but because you know that weakness is a debt that will always be collected. Comfort is a slow poison, and depending on anything outside of yourself is a prison. You prepare because life is indifferent. You prepare because storms don't send a warning. You prepare because betrayal often comes with a familiar smile. You prepare because, in the end, the only one who will walk with you through the fire is you. Do not envy the loud men, the ones who perform strength but cannot endure suffering. Their empires are built from dust. You must build from stone, from daily discipline, from silent repetition, from choices that no one will ever applaud. Let every sunrise be your call to arms. Let every ache of pain be a sacred oath. Let every moment of solitude be your forge. The 10,000 battles are not somewhere out there in the future. They are raging inside you right now. So sharpen your will. Train your body, walk with your burden, detach from praise, prepare in silence. And when life finally tests you, and it will, you will not beg for mercy. You will not crumble, you will not run, you will rise. Every man says he wants to be strong, but few are willing to do what strength requires. Strength isn't found in a gym, it's not built with mirrors and applause. It is found in the quiet hours when no one else is awake, when you show up for the work that no one else will see. It's built when you endure the monotony without a reward, when you refuse to flinch under pressure, not because it's easy, but because you have made yourself immovable. There will be days when your mind screams at you to quit, when your body begs for the soft embrace of comfort, when every excuse you've ever known rises like a fog to blind you. That is the battlefield, not out there, in here. Discipline isn't pretty. It's brutal, it's repetitive, it is cold mornings and deliberate hardship. It is putting down the distraction and picking up your duty. It is walking toward what you fear instead of away from it. It is saying no when every cell in your body wants to say just this once. And that is where most men break. Not in open combat, but in quiet compromise. They fold when offered comfort. They disappear when things get inconvenient. They promise themselves they'll start tomorrow, and their life becomes an endless series of tomorrows that never arrive. They choose to live soft, to think soft, to slowly rot while telling themselves they are waiting for the right moment. But warriors do not wait for right moments, they create them. When Musashi said, "Respect the gods without counting on their help," he wasn't talking about faith. He was telling you to stop waiting for something outside of yourself to save you. Stop hoping the universe will grant you what you have not earned. You forge your own path. You earn your own peace. You do not train for the easy days. You train for the days when everything falls apart, when the people you trusted walk away, when failure laughs in your face. And still, you rise. You train for the 10,000 unseen battles, the ones that will never get you a medal, because those are the only ones that truly count. There are two roads in this life, the road of comfort and the road of conquest. Comfort will blind you. Conquest will burn you into your true form. The man of comfort tries to find peace by avoiding all conflict, but he becomes a slave to his own fear of it. The warrior walks willingly into conflict, knowing it is the only forge that creates true clarity. The world will whisper lies to break you gently. Take it easy. You've earned a break. Just this once won't hurt. But Musashi's words cut through that fog. Do nothing which is of no use. That is not a piece of advice, that is a weapon. A mind trained in discipline becomes a blade. And a blade is not kept sharp through mercy. It is kept sharp through refusal, through resolve, through restraint. You must become dangerous, not to others, but to the weakness inside yourself. You must become the kind of man who has faced his own inner chaos and now stands as its master. There will come a day when the world collapses under the weight of its own illusions. When the men who chose comfort will look around and find only ruins. Their strength was borrowed. Their pride was empty. They will beg for mercy from a life they never prepared for. But you will be ready. Because you trained for this. You trained in silence. You trained in solitude. You trained when there was no applause and the weight was real. You trained when it hurt, and you stayed with the pain until it healed you. 10,000 battles, 10,000 trials, and each one a sharpening. Not so you could boast, not so you could be seen, but so you could stand even if the whole world falls. A warrior's peace is not found in a quiet life. It is found in a state of readiness. You do not seek a life without struggle. You seek a soul that cannot be shaken by it. Your goal is not safety. Your goal is a strength so absolute that no storm can move you. There will be times when the darkness gets close, when even your own breath feels like a betrayal, when your mind whispers, "This is too much." But the man who has prepared for 10,000 battles does not flinch. He has already faced death 1,000 times in his own mind. He has already buried comfort beneath a mountain of his own discipline. He has already learned that pain is not the enemy. Hesitation is. Weak men wait for the perfect moment. The trained man acts regardless of the conditions. You train not because life is fair, you train because it is not. You prepare not for the day the world loves you, you prepare for the day it turns against you. If you want to hold any power in this life, you must first master the power to walk alone, the power to carry your burdens in silence, the power to rebuild yourself every single day as if no one else will ever do it for you, because they won't. Most men break because they were never broken on purpose. They never willingly tested the limits of their own spirit. They never met their own shadow and decided to keep walking. But you walk it anyway, because you know there is no road to greatness that does not cut through a valley of suffering. No calm that is not earned in fire. No truth that can survive without being carved out of lies. You don't want easy. You want earned. That's why you train. That's why you rise again. That's why you are not like them, because you have prepared for 10,000 battles. Strength without principle is just brutality. Discipline without direction is just self-punishment. You must not only be sharp, you must be aimed. A sword is not feared because it is steel. It is feared because it is in the hands of a man who knows exactly when to strike and, more importantly, when not to. You are not here to become a beast. You are here to become precise, deadly but not reckless, calm but not cold, focused but not frantic. You must know the war outside, but first you must win the war within. Every thought is a soldier, every doubt an intruder, every habit an ally or an enemy. You must inspect them all ruthlessly every single day. Ask yourself, who is in command of your mind? Who directs your impulses? Who holds the reins when fatigue, fear, lust, or anger rears its head? If the answer is not you, then you are still unprepared. You cannot fight 10,000 battles if you are already at war with yourself. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead your own emotions. And you cannot win if you do not first learn to lose, with grace, without quitting, and without breaking your own code. Most men are ruled by invisible masters, by distraction, by desire, by doubt. But you see them. You strip them of their power, you face them, and you refuse to kneel, because this is what separates the warrior from the wanderer. The wanderer seeks a comfortable path. The warrior seeks a clear one, so stand where others would fall. Hold silence where others would scream. Move with intention where others are moved by fear. 10,000 battles will not break you, because the first war you won was the one against yourself. Do not train for the next fight. Train for the next 1,000. Your movements must not be learned. They must become instinct, carved into muscle and burned into bone, until even in the midst of chaos you strike with perfect clarity. The warrior is not caught off guard because he never lets his guard down. Not in peace, not in love, not in rest. Every breath is a rehearsal. Every moment is preparation. You will not have time to get ready when the world tests you. You will only have the man you have become. The coward prepares excuses. The average man prepares when it's already an emergency. The warrior prepares before the storm is even a whisper on the wind, and so he does not fear it. You must welcome the unseen battles. The betrayal you didn't expect. The injury you couldn't predict. The profound loneliness that creeps in when the world is asleep. These are not curses. They are sharpening stones. The day will come when your back is against the wall. Not in theory, not in a story, but in blood and dirt and time. You will face a force that seems greater than you, And in that moment, your body will do what your discipline has taught it. That is why we drill. That is why we fast. That is why we choose solitude, why we breathe through pain, why we go without, why we march when no one is watching. The world does not slow down for the unprepared, it crushes them. But you have chosen the long road, the lonely road, the path without applause, because you understand this. When 10,000 battles come, you don't rise to the occasion. You default to your level of training. So make damn sure that level is unbreakable. Your enemies will not give you a warning. Your failures will not show you pity. Life will test you when your blade is dull and your will is faltering, unless you forge both in advance. A warrior without preparation is a weapon without an edge, a man of potential but no power. He dies not from the battle, but from the delay. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for the world to be calm. Do not wait until you feel ready. The 10,000 battles are already marching toward you. Prepare while others are distracted. Prepare while others are seeking comfort. Prepare in silence, so that when the time comes, it is your actions that make the noise. Your future self is watching you now. He is hoping you don't betray him. He is hoping you will bleed now so he won't have to later, because the man who prepares for one battle is shaken when the second one arrives. But the man who prepares for 10,000 meets chaos with composure. He does not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He says, "I knew this day would come." And he smiles, not because it is easy, but because he is ready. No man escapes pain, but the warrior walks into it deliberately, methodically, like a blacksmith stepping into the fire to forge steel. He understands that avoidance is just surrender in disguise, and that the repetition of surrender carves weakness deep into the soul. You are not here to escape. You are here to endure, to refine your form under immense pressure, to die to your former self again and again until nothing inside you remains untested. While others seek shelter, you sharpen your edge. While they wait for perfect conditions, you train under a broken sky. And as they hesitate, you strike. Understand this. The universe is indifferent. It grants no favors, no mercy, no explanations. Yet it respects those who move forward anyway. Those who shape their own will into something like iron, unmoved by the howling winds of fortune. The one who wins is not always the strongest, but always the one who continues. The one who finds stillness in chaos, who embraces his fatigue and walks one step further. Your daily choices are forging your unseen armor. Every cold morning you rise with clarity, every repetition you perform when no one is watching, every indulgence you deny, these are the invisible victories that will determine the outcome of your visible ones. Do not ask for less resistance. Build yourself to meet it. Prepare not for a life of comfort, but for storms, for betrayal, for fire, and for flood. So that when they arrive, they find you not surprised, but waiting, already forged, already shaped, already silent. Because preparation is not an event, it is a lifestyle, it is a creed, it is a vow whispered in your own breath. Let the world come. I have trained for this. And when the test arrives, not if, but when, you will not break, because you have already suffered voluntarily. You have already faced the shadows alone. You have already died 1,000 small deaths for one worthy cause, becoming the man who cannot be moved. The battle is never just out there. It is not the enemy's sword, the difficult terrain, or the long night. The truest battle, the one that either breaks you or builds you, is fought within. Every day, in silence, with no audience and with no mercy. Your enemy is your comfort, your doubt, your need for applause, your hunger for a shortcut. Victory is not one grand moment, it is a pattern of choices, repeated without fail. When you want to quit and you don't. When you are tired but you continue. When you have every excuse and you use none of them. This is what separates men from warriors. Most want the crown but refuse the cross. They crave the glory but run from the grind. They want to be unbreakable without ever having to experience being broken. But you walk toward hardship as if it were home. You nod at the pain. You let it carve away everything that is false until what remains is pure, unshakable, and sacred. So now you understand. You are not preparing for one battle. You are preparing for 10,000. Not for applause, not for recognition, but because it is who you are. Because the path itself is the only reward you need. Let them watch. Let them wait. Let them fade away. You are not like them. You are the blade that sharpens itself, the fire that feeds on pressure, the storm that does not sway. You are the man who was broken and reforged by his own choice. Prepare every day, with every breath. Prepare until preparation becomes your nature, until pain feels like progress, until fear becomes irrelevant, until death itself must bow to your resolve. Stand alone. Stand ready. Prepare for 10,000 battles. And when the time comes, strike without hesitation.